Okay, we're back to inequalities and continuing on. So the next step here is to understand that inequalities are just equations like we've been working on. So sometimes we have to simplify these inequalities before we can graph them. So just like equations, whatever I do to one side of the equation, I do to the other side. So if I multiply a number by one side, I have to multiply it by the other, or divide. If I divide a number, something on one side of the equation, I divide by the other. If I add or subtract a number, I have to do it to both sides of the equation. And remember, the equation is separated by the sign. And in our case now, it's not just an equal sign anymore. It's going to be an inequality, a less than or greater than sign. So there is one special rule with inequalities, and this is really important to understand. And it's really specific, so you have to pay attention here. It's only if I multiply or divide by a negative number. Then what I have to do is to flip the sign, the inequality. So whenever I multiply or divide by a negative number, then I have to flip the inequality sign. And just like in the last video, we flipped the sign when I just swapped the two, the variable and the number to one side or the other. So this is another occasion where we can flip the sign. So I have a few examples here, and the reason I think this you have to do that is generally because we have two negatives becoming a positive, and so then the equation changes up because of that. So here's two equations I have here. The first one here is negative c is less than 7. So with this, you notice here we have negative c is less than 7. I'd rather have it just say positive c on this side of the equation. So what I'm going to do is multiply the negative c by a negative 1. And if I do that, I have to multiply both sides by negative 1. So I have to multiply the 7 by negative 1. And when I do that, I notice I changed the sign. So this was a less than. Now it's a greater than sign. And negative 1 times negative c, two negatives I'm multiplying, is just going to be a positive c. And this is the sign from above here, greater than sign. And 7 times negative 1 is negative 7. So basically, negative c less than 7 becomes c greater than negative 7. And I also did draw it out here on the number line, so I get to negative 7, which is down here. And negative 7, c is greater than negative 7, so greater than anything moves to the right. All right, let's look at this other example up here. X is divided by negative 4, and that's greater than or equal to 2. So in this situation, I'm going to, because I'm dividing here by negative 4, the opposite of division is multiplying. So in order for me to resolve this, I want to multiply this side of the equation by negative 4. And if I do that to one side of the equation, I have to do that to the other. If I multiply by negative 4, the negative 4 and the negative 4 are going to cancel out to be a positive 1. 1 times x is just x. So that'll get x by itself. So here is what I'm doing. I multiply both sides by negative 4. Here's a negative 4 on this side. I'm multiplying, and then a negative 4 on this side. Then I'm multiplying. And notice I flipped the sign, greater than or equal to, less than or equal to. Again, if this was just x over 4, and I just multiply both sides by 4, I do not flip the sign. The only reason I'm flipping it is because of the negative, and because I'm multiplying and dividing. So here, negative 4 over negative 4 is just a 1. 1 times x is x. And over here, 2 times negative 4 is going to be negative 8. So x is going to be less than or equal to negative 8. And I go ahead and plot that. Here's the negative 8. And I want everything less than negative 8. So it would be to the left side. And this is a closed circle because it's of the equal sign. All right, I'm going to do some more examples, so keep watching.